Hi, good evening. Today is my 72nd birthday, and I'm going to talk about my healing gift, about my family and the uses of these gifts. In the late 1800s, my granduncle would have practiced these healing gifts in the local communities. Old Granny Lennon would practice her healing gift, and she could cure many, many ailments, from warts to ringworms, leg ulcers. She could stop the bleeding as well. And she would use all the old Irish cures going back to perhaps biblical times, using healing methods that are now almost forgotten. On the other hand, my granduncle, he could stop the bleeding, and he could cure wounds that were almost impossible, I suppose, in those days. He could also cure animals. And this was part, of course, of our culture during that era when doctors were in short supply. These methods of healing were used across Ireland. Healers in that area could be seen picking strange type of herbs, perhaps in the hedgerows, late in the evening when the dew was on the ground. This was for maximum effect, or in the early morning before sunrise. Animals could be cured using similar methods. Remember, all of these cures were handed down from male to female, female to male, and used by gifted people across the country. I remember a member of my family had jaundice at 16, and obviously she was brought to the local doctor, and the doctor sent her to the local healer to get a bottle. And I think the bottle at that time cost half a crown. How much is a half a crown worth today? I can and do use all these methods from time to time. In modern times, when we're under pressure every day, it's difficult to make up these herbal tonics and rubs. For example, to make a bottle to cure, say, IBS would take many, many days to gather, to prepare, to boil the herbs maybe for 4 hours, and this work is very, very time consuming, and one has to be very, very focused and dedicated to do this work. And you cannot be under pressure every day and do this work. And that's why the old healers could work at their leisure to prepare these cures and treatments. A lot of your comments about doing this type of work, healing work for free, doesn't work anymore because of the time that it takes to pick those herbs and to, at the right time of day, and to be in the right frame of mind to do it. that was possible perhaps in old Granny's time, but people were cured and helped, and of course in turn they helped members of old Granny's family, for example. And it's perhaps difficult now for the younger folk to visualize the problems and this problems that old people were confronted with at that time. And people that were healed and cured, of course, would give their help and offer their help to the healer. For example, they would maybe help to save the hay, help with animals, help with firewood. And when I can do all these cures and a lot more, it is so time consuming that it's not viable anymore. Have any of you heard of the cure for the mote in the eye? The mote in the eye is a piece of perhaps wood, sand, thorn, whatever, that would affect the eye very much if it wasn't removed, and some of the old healers could do that at a distance. They can do it today, so can I. Have you heard of the cure for the worm? Worms played a very, very important role at the time when there was no antibiotics. There were old healers that could work with and cure the problems created by the worm. Read about it, maybe in some of the old herbal books. Also, to stop the bleeding. There were people who could do that. I can do that. So can hundreds and thousands of others across Ireland do that today. You know, our medical system spends perhaps millions of euros to stop bleeding, internal and otherwise. But yet there are hundreds and hundreds of people across Ireland who can do this today. I use this gift hundreds and hundreds of times every year to cure and stop the bleeding in both humans and animals. And this method that I talk about, how does it work? What does it actually do to stop and coagulate the blood? Well, maybe that's the purpose of another discussion. Shingles, ringworms, warts, skin diseases can also be cured in this way. These gifts are in my family and I use them every day. While I practice these healing gifts, my healing took a different course, a different direction which people are not familiar with. Please understand that my gift is not a therapy. You cannot learn how to do this. I've had people come to me after years of being treated with different therapies, and after a few sessions they were well again. I was chosen to do this particular job and to help those who are ready and willing to accept it. I can tune in to a person and make my own diagnosis of that person's illness, of their intentions and their thoughts towards me. It also allows me to treat all illness. I have the ability to work on their illness and bring about a cure if it's for their greater good and benefit. This differs greatly from the simple everyday cures that we are familiar with. This type of work that I do takes a lifetime of experience and has to be safeguarded by special methods which I cannot share with you. It involves working at a deep level with the divine. This particular depth of healing is time-consuming and it's life-consuming. And it takes serious and special work to take a person out of a coma, for example. The good Lord has done this through me in the past. Michelangelo had a special gift of painting, and so did Caravaggio and hundreds of others. And they came to this earth to do a special job. So did I. There are always going to be critics out there. A critic is someone who hasn't the ability to do anything themselves, but criticizes and begrudges others who can. Well, they don't matter. We have 700 to 800, maybe 900 videos showing different healings. All these videos are true and give an account of the patient's progress after healing. There are hundreds and hundreds of others who haven't been documented but nonetheless are true and genuine. I suppose there's a secrecy about healing and cures that I don't understand. My hope is that those of you who have the ability to use these gifts, use them for the benefit of others. There are those of you, very few, fortunately, out there with bitter tongues and poison pens, with bitterness in your hearts and in your life. And I hope that listening to this little video will change your mindset and make you a better person. And on this, my 72nd birthday, I wish you peace and happiness. and good luck.